Dun, 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 dun,
All right, I'm moving to the hot seat here.
Awesome. Do you want us? What website do you want me to mention?
I shareduniverse.com.
All right.
Are we live right now?
Yeah.
Sweet. Putting the mullet on?
I put the mullet on. Actually, let me.
That is a good look for you.
Let me switch this over. We may get some comments.
Oh, look at
Cool,
you.
you can see the chat window.
Look
So,
like Johnny.
there's good. Try not to pay too much attention to that. There's gonna be a delay. But what's up, everybody?
What's going
Johnny
on?
Tsunami. I love it.
Nice. What's up, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we have our guru and our mentor, Ming Chen, is hanging with us. What's up, Ming?
What's going on, guys?
I'm loving the mullet.
Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you.
a sweet look.
Yeah. I think next rule is everyone's gonna have one.
Yeah.
So we'll get a whole box of them here.
Probably for sure. I'm Evan Baumer, and I'm here with Mike Mercia.
What's going on, everyone?
We are the MulletCast. You probably don't know, but Ming is actually with us at the MulletCast every week, kind of behind the scenes, because we're at a shared universe where we record, and Ming's running the board for us every week. Check out Ming at MingChen37 on Instagram and shareduniverse.com. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? I love being in the hot seat. I don't think I've ever been in this.
Really?
I've never podcast from this chair before.
How's
so
it feel? Good?
It feels good.
That's cool.
It feels good.
Yeah,
And usually if there's a podcast here, if a guest bails or something, I'm usually the default. It's like, hey, will you sit in?
Nice.
And I love it. I mean, this is where I started. So
Yeah.
That's cool. Aside from the mullet, also you look different because you always have your blue headphones on, so you look a little out of place with those headphones too.
Yeah.
You look like a rock star right now.
Totally.
Is this what Kid Rock feels like?
I think so, yeah.
I'm more Joe C than Kid Rock. I'm kind of short, but I sometimes on a good day I feel like I have that Kid Rock attitude.
I like
yeah.
that. Oddly enough, like one of my very first music business jobs, there was a record label in Cranford, New Jersey that signed Kid Rock, and I was an intern. This is like way before. I was an intern there, and got to go to dinner with Kid Rock when they signed him. So it was sweet.
awesome.
Like I have old cassettes signed by him. It was killer. So that was a good start to the business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Yeah, for sure. So Ming, we never really talked about it, but we met you at a networking event.
Yeah.
And by chance, I had been trying to get a podcast rolling. I had some gear that just came into my office. So, like, meeting you was awesome. And you're really the guy that got us started with the MulletCast. Like, we learned everything we know from you. And finding a shared universe has been awesome for us. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I love spreading the gospel for
Right.
sure, and podcasting is one of my passions, and just kind of. I kind of fell into it too, which I wasn't really a talkative guy. I was very quiet in high school and college. Didn't ask many girls out. Didn't go to parties, and
Right.
I think I kept all this stuff bottled in. But once it's weird, you put a microphone in front of somebody, no matter how shy they are, they will open up.
Yeah.
It's something
Right.
about I don't know, the form factor or just mentally. Some people go back to that photo of a young Elvis crooning into the microphone that we're actually using right here,
Right.
and automatically they start opening up. So
That is cool.
yeah,
So how'd you fall into podcasting?
I fell in through Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith's kind of one of the more well known podcasters. He's one of the podcasters out there one of the few who've actually figured out how to make some money out of it.
Right.
So it's a wild world out there, and I think if you're starting podcasting and you're trying to make money, you should probably stop right now because it's a tough job.
Right.
But you got your Joe Rogans of the world, you have your Kevin Smiths, your a couple of those guys that, the Nerdist, that empire has kind of figured out how to make money out of
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But Kevin Smith is a guy who loves to talk at length without any rules, doesn't want anyone cutting him off, doesn't want anyone telling him, oh, you got to put a commercial here. You have to stop it this time.
Right.
He's run into that kind of throughout his whole career. It's like, oh, no, you can't talk for 3 hours.
Right.
That's insane. And you can't say curse words, and you can't talk about having sex with your wife.
Right.
That's not for public consumption. So podcasting with no rules was perfect for him.
Sure.
He could talk at length. He could talk about whatever he wanted, and it was, and he could release an episode whenever he wanted. There was no, you have to go on at 9 a.m.
Right.
He's got a pretty busy schedule. So he started way back in 2007.
Wow.
Oh wow, way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he's got a show
Wow.
called Smodcast. Started with his producer Scott Mosier. So they took the first two letters of their last name and called it Smodcast.
That's cool.
Nice.
And he launched a network called the Smodcast Podcast Network. And as he was adding shows, he asked me and guy I work with and a partner here at the Shared Universe,
Right.
Mike Zapsik, to start a show about comic books called I Sell Comics.
Nice.
And we were like, what are you talking about? I didn't go to broadcasting school. I don't.
Yeah.
You're the talker. You tell great stories. You're basically a comedian. We're not funny. No one wants to listen to us. Like,
Right.
no. You guys know comic books. I want a show on the network, and you do it.
Yeah.
And when Kevin tells you to do something, you not only do it, but you do it to the best of your ability. It's
Right.
a weird thing working with him. I always say, I was like, you know what? I need to go to the moon, build a rocket. And I could
Right.
probably, if he told me to do it, I could probably figure it out. He's a really great motivator.
That's nice.
So-
How'd you meet him originally?
Interesting story. So yeah, a lot of people ask me like, how did you start working with Kevin Smith?
Right.
Did you send a resume in, or did you? Was there a job? Did you fill out a job application?
Right.
And no, Kevin famously made a movie called Clerks back in 1994.
Great movie. Yep.
Took out 10 credit cards, sold his comic book collection, made it for $27,575 back in 1994, and shot it on grainy black and white 16 millimeter film. That's the only thing he could afford.
Right.
And got a small crew together that he had met while he was in film school before he dropped out after 4 months. And he was like, you know what? I learned enough. I learned what I needed to know in 4 months. I have the script that I wrote, and he very much a self-starter. Made this movie, Clerks. Taking out 10 credit cards, as you guys know, is probably not a great idea to finance anything.
Yeah.
But it worked out for him. He clerked out into Sundance and got picked up by Miramax and
Right.
Launched his career. And I saw the movie shortly after it came out on home video. I was working at a little rundown, beat-up video store at the Student Union. We got one copy of each movie when it came out each week.
Right.
Okay.
So if you came in to rent like True Romance or Pulp Fiction, there was only one copy, and if it was gone, you were screwed until maybe the guy brought
Senior
it back
year,
the next day.
like maybe I'll get into it.
Yeah, but a copy of Clerks came in, and I'd heard it was a funny movie. I was apprehensive because it was in black and white. I thought it was some art school movie.
Right.
But I heard it was funny, and I heard it took place in New Jersey. I went to the University of Michigan,
Right.
and that's where I was at the time.
Okay.
The girl I was dating was also from Middletown, New Jersey.
Oh, no kidding.
All right.
And I was like, well, maybe there's some good jokes about Middletown
Right.
in there. I'm going to watch this movie. And I went home, I popped it in, and I was immediately hooked. I'd never heard dialogue like that before.
Right.
There were two characters in there called Jay and Silent Bob
Yeah.
that I'd never seen in any kind of movie before.
Right.
And it was about a guy working a dead-end job, didn't know what he wanted to do, which I highly related to at the time.
Sure.
I was going to school, but I had no clue what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I really fell in love with this movie. I became borderline obsessed with it for
Right.
whatever reason. And I tried to get all my other friends to watch it just so I would have somebody to talk to about it.
Sure.
And they were stuck. It's in black and white. It takes place in New Jersey. I don't want to watch it. We don't want to watch this movie. At the time, I happened to be, I've been learning to build websites. Somebody had taught me to build a website.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'll channel my fandom into that. I'm going to build a Clerks fan website. And then maybe I'll put an email address at the bottom.
Right.
You know, like, if you're a fan, contact me. I want to geek out about Clerks with you. And it worked out. I put it online. I started getting emails.
Right.
And I started meeting other fans of Kevin Smith and Clerks, and which was cool. And then one day I got an email from probably the biggest fan of Clerks, which was Kevin himself.
No way.
Who was over at an internet cafe in Red Bank,
Right.
back when there were internet cafes.
That's funny.
And he's like, "Hey man, I saw what you did. Instead of sending you a cease and desist or a copyright warning, because this website I built, I had grabbed images, I put up audio clips,
Right.
I did digitized video, I stole all kinds of stuff to put it on, put
Right,
on there. And instead of sending, warning me or having a lawyer come after me, he was like,
Right.
"Hey man, I really like what you did. I'm starting a production company. I'm going to be making more movies. Can you build a whole website that will encompass all of that?"
Oh, wow.
something. I'll send you like behind the scenes photos.
Right.
I'm going to send you a whole bunch of stuff. Can you put this all online and build a website for me?
That's killer.
And at first, I was like, who is this?
Right.
This is fake.
Who's messing
Yeah.
with-
This can't be real.
It's my girlfriend from Middletown.
Yeah. Back then, anyone of
That's
any
wild.
kind of fame like didn't just email you out of the
Right.
blue,
Yeah.
or later on he gave me his number. He was like, call me.
Right. Did he have some kind of like a real embarrassing AOL email address also?
He still has an AOL address. He still has it.
Sweet.
Yeah, but you're right. He did,
Right,
and he
right.
still has it.
Right.
So,
That's pretty funny.
but I ended up calling him. I ended up coming here for like 3 days. His office is up in Red Bank. I ended up hanging out with him, and I built this site for him. But the main thing that he wanted, though, was he wanted a chat room. Like he was in the AOL
okay.
world.
Right.
He's like, I want a chat room. I really want to interact with fans. I'm like, really?
Right.
Like, nobody does that. I thought Hollywood kept people at arm's length.
Sure.
And he was like, no, I'm a man of the people. I'm a fan just like everyone else is. I want to interact with them.
That's cool.
And I was, instead of a chat room, how about I build you like a message board where people can leave posts or questions,
Right.
and you come by and answer them at your leisure whenever you have time. He's like, well, that's a great idea. So I put that up for him, and
Nice.
it was great. Fans would come in, and
Right.
it would be him. They were like, is this really Kevin Smith? And you could tell by the way he wrote, there was no doubt it was him.
Right.
And it was cool. So he was one of the first guys to kind of start interacting with fans.
That's cool.
And come out of that weird Hollywood curtain and interact with people. So I took a lot out of that.
Right. So you were still in school at that time?
I was, yeah. I think it
That's
was
crazy,
my
man.
junior year at University of Michigan. I
That's
was
really cool.
working at the computer lab one day, and I was just really bored. So I built this website.
Nice.
And yeah, it's kind of worked out for me.
That's a
So-
great story.
That is really cool.
Listening to Kevin and Joe Rogan about a month ago, he's so not Hollywood.
No,
I mean, he's just like, he loves critics that are fans.
Yeah.
And, he's always up to talking to people when they release the movies.
Yeah.
And, he likes budgeting. I think he said he like handling the budget, right? Because he could put whatever content he wants out there.
Right.
Whether people like it or not, he's got that fan base.
yeah.
He's cool. I mean, he's just a normal dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the most normal guys in Hollywood.
Yeah, right.
Didn't go blow his money on yachts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
think the biggest thing he bought, he ended up buying Ben Affleck's old house about 15 years ago when
Okay.
he tried to stay in Jersey as long as he could, but it's
Right.
really hard being in the entertainment and movie industry in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living in New Jersey, so he ended up moving to L.A. and ended up buying Ben's old house before Ben was Batman, before Ben dated Jennifer Lopez.
I was gonna
Right.
say it was a poster.
Before all that, and I think Ben, I don't have the financial. I think Ben ended up cutting him a pretty
A
good
deal. I
deal.
was gonna
Nice.
say,
Yeah, because Kevin kind of was responsible, in my opinion, for launching his career to where he is now.
Sure, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely. So how did you piece together then from doing a website for Kevin? Did you continue on with him?
Yeah, so he ended up. I was in school. I ended up. I worked. I worked on a contract. I was a contractor for the government for a while. I worked in D.C.
Right.
And then Ben actually had a startup called Live Planet out in L.A.
Right.
that he had heard of me through Kevin, and he actually hired me for a year to work out there for
That's
him. And
cool.
after that, Kevin hired me full time.
Nice.
I think I was in LA at the time. He's like, your only caveat is you have to move to Jersey.
Right.
And I was like, oh. I had visited. I was still dating the girl, and we ended up getting married.
Oh, no
but I was
way.
like, Jersey. I was like, wow, that's a big change. But you know what? I'll come out. And
Yeah.
I've been here ever since. So I discovered pork roll.
There
I
you go.
discovered pizza and bagels, East
Right.
Coast pizza and bagels.
Bruce.
I'm like, well, Bruce, the Jersey Shore. So I never want to leave now.
Mullets.
Yeah, mullets. Yeah.
You look like a Jersey Shore guy.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah. So I've discovered the beauty of Central Jersey, of the Jersey Shore in particular.
That's cool.
So have you lived in Monmouth County since that transition?
I have. Yeah, I moved here in 2002. Started out in Atlantic Highlands,
Okay.
and then and I live in Shrewsbury Township now,
Nice.
which is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Same neighborhood.
That's cool.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
found out we were neighbors, which is
Yeah.
great.
Right. So aside from like podcasting, do you still do web type of stuff?
Yeah,
or-
I do. Less of it now, and the landscape has kind of changed. Back then, when you went to a website, you had to code everything by hand.
Right.
Which I can still do. I can still put a website together by hand. But now there's stuff like Squarespace and Wix
Right.
and WordPress is kind of the big engine that drives all the websites right
Right.
now. And I do. I'll jump in there. I definitely help people out. Every so often, people have me. He's like, hey, can you start up a website for me? He's like, oh, absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So, I think I do more graphic design at this point now.
Okay.
Right.
People always need logos. They need banners for trade shows or whatever.
Sure.
Well, you gave us our killer logo.
Totally.
Yeah, the MulletCast.
MulletCast.
Yeah.
No doubt. I know you just cobbled that together like in your spare, like while you're sitting there doing something, it suddenly appeared. It was
Yeah,
cool.
like, we need a logo for the live stream
Right.
and
There it
for iTunes and now you need logos and stuff for social media now.
Right.
Ad banners and just things formatted for Instagram
Right.
to advertise stuff. So yeah, that's something I really enjoy. That graphic design is fun. You can sit there on your couch with a beer and design something in a couple hours.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Throw down a Ross Brewing Co. Cold one, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But but now launching your own business, it definitely comes in handy. You don't have to
Right.
wait for a designer to come up with something.
It's
and,
true, yeah.
and-
That's almost like the first thing you need. Like you said, like you can get the website rolling, but you
Yeah.
need that identity.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need the
to get
brand
started.
identity for sure.
That's cool. So you travel a lot also, like various Comic Cons.
I do, yeah. I've been fortunate enough to be invited to Comic Cons around the world. Mainly, I'm mainly based around the country, but every so often I'll get to leave the United States. And I love pop culture. I love comics.
Right.
I love TV and movies. So the Comic Con industry is kind of weird. It started out in church basements and VFW halls.
Right.
With like
That's true, man.
You said church basements?
yeah, church basements.
Really?
Yeah, they would need revenue. So on Saturdays, mainly Saturdays, and whenever there weren't services,
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
rent out their basements for really cheap.
Wow.
It's funny because I can
Comic-Con.
That's
remember as a
crazy.
kid hitting like the combination of like baseball card
Yeah.
shows and comic shows,
Yeah.
all those kind of places. Like,
Yeah.
people load in their glass case,
Yeah.
into the VFW hall.
Yeah, and in the Comic Con realm, you'd have like three of the same guys would be at every Comic Con with long boxes full of books.
Yeah.
But if you had that hole in your collection, that's the place you would go.
Right.
And it would smell musty in there, and it was real cramped, and you'd meet some interesting characters in there.
Right.
It's crazy.
And that's how it was in the 70s and 80s, and then somewhere in the 90s it kind of blew up. Someone got the idea. It was like, hey, why don't we get some people from TV shows to
Right.
come out, and
Yeah.
that will be a draw.
Yeah.
We're going to open up the audience. It's still we're going to get guests from geek shows, but that'll draw more geeks out, and then
Right.
they'll buy more stuff.
Let's get Shatner out there.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
yeah. Shatner's a big mainstay,
Yeah.
and back in the day, the stigma was if you were at a Comic-Con, then you were over, you were washed up. You were
Right.
the dude from the Love Boat or MASH
Yeah.
or people that you hadn't seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
And somebody got the brilliant idea. It was like, well, why don't we get current people?
Yeah,
people
yeah,
watching
yeah.
these shows. There's an
Absolutely.
audience out there. Why don't we do that? And that's blown up to you'll get people from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and Breaking Bad, and now you'll get real life Avengers at
Yeah.
Comic Cons.
That's
I'm looking
cool.
at one right now, the picture of you with
Yeah,
Captain America, Loki, and Thor.
Yeah, which
There
is
you pretty awesome.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole kind of landscape kind of changed. Whereas the church basement shows used to be like $1 to get in.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's some people pay up to $500 for a VIP pass.
Wow.
That includes a couple autographs and some photos.
Sure.
Now, is the cosplay still big? Like full get up?
That's a great question. So back in the church basement days, you get like one guy who kind of threw together a Wolverine outfit with
Yeah.
like cardboard claws that he made out of a refrigerator box.
Right.
Was this you?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't
I
me.
remember that.
It wasn't me. Now, if you go to a con, and it would be one guy, and you'd be like, "Oh, look at that guy! Wow, that guy's a weirdo."
Yeah.
Now, if you go to a con and you're not in cosplay, you're the weirdo.
Yeah.
Like the cosplayers outweigh the people in street clothes,
That's awesome.
and
Yeah.
not only that, but the quality has gone up tremendously.
I'm sure.
Where some of these cosplay costumes rival the ones that you see on screen.
Like movie authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy
so,
to
the
see.
movie authentic ones. You'll get costume designers like we need a Wolverine costume.
Yeah.
By tomorrow, or they'll get a little time to make it. But these cosplayers, the higher end ones, will spend months
Wow.
on one costume, and you can tell. And some of the ones they light up. Some of the ones, some people build in the vapes that people
Yeah.
smoke, so smoke will come out of vents and stuff
That's
like
wild.
that. Yeah,
That's
it's really insane.
That is wild.
I haven't been. And
No.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
They're
Do you have a favorite?
I have a couple favorites. New York Comic Con's one of the biggest ones and one of the best ones. One of the more crowded ones though. So it's a 4-day event. If you go
Right.
on Saturday, it's you're going to be wall to wall people.
Right.
Yeah.
That one's great. There's one called Comic Palooza in Houston that just does a really great job. One of the best cons in Houston.
That's cool.
And and again, the church basement ones, you'd have like one a month, in some random place.
Right.
There's maybe 3, 4, sometimes even 5 in the U.S. alone on a weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
So pretty much every weekend there's a convention.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed too. Like, I follow what you got going on Instagram, and you seem to always pop up at a really cool place. So, like, what's your tactic for, like, all right, I'm going to Comic-Con in Houston. How do
Yeah.
you find like the cool places
Yeah,
to go
so
while you're in town?
One of my passions is just travel, just adventure,
Right.
Yeah.
finding cool places. And as I'm afforded, I have this, I'm lucky enough to travel to a lot of cities now that I probably would have never have gone to.
Right.
And in this world with Applebee's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and chain restaurants, you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
I want to go to the hole in the wall,
Totally.
taco joint.
Yeah.
Or the place like, they only do fried chicken between 7 and 8
Right.
on Thursdays on a full moon. When the moon is full. I'm like, well, where is that? And I was like, where is that? It's like, it's in Birmingham, Alabama. I was like, well, I'm going there.
Right.
Yeah. So what I started doing before, I would do research
Uh-huh.
before I went to a city. So it was pretty simple: best food, best coffee, best dive bar or cocktails.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
Well, I have a couple of sources. You can Google
Right.
you can Google that exact term, and you'll get a pretty decent list.
Right.
With sites like Yelp. Yelp
Okay.
is a great
Is that your
great
go-to?
one of the go-tos.
Right.
And then there are sites out there like Thrillist, Thrillist.com.
Right.
There's a site called Eater.com.
Okay.
They go out to cities and they'll compile lists. Eater.com in particular does every quarter. They do the 38 essential restaurants of every major city in America.
Oh, really?
And those are the ones I know they've put thought into, and those are the crazier restaurants. Those are the ones I want to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
And that 38 list will range from everything from, of course, the super high end to the hole in the wall.
Right.
So it's a pretty great range.
That's cool.
And I'll cross reference. I'll go into like underground message boards. But I find if you're traveling and you want to go to unique places, the best resource is of course the locals. So
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
once you hit that, if you go to a bar that you heard of, I talk to the bartenders for sure, the baristas at the coffee place, or
Yeah.
the waiter at the restaurant. I was like, well, when you're not here,
Right.
where do you go? And a lot of them will be like, hold on, they'll grab a piece of paper and they'll legit write you a
Yeah.
list,
Right.
It's
which
a
is
local spot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
which is awesome. And it's gotten to the point now where I have friends who work these conventions or they travel and they'll be like, hey, I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Where should I go for breakfast? I'm like, bar none, you want to go to this place called the Frontier.
Yeah.
They have green chili burrito, which is amazing.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I should probably either have a blog or write a
should.
book or
Yeah,
something.
That'd be cool. Yeah. For sure. What are your go-to spots around Jersey?
Around Jersey, it's weird. I work primarily in the Red Bank area, but there's
Okay.
not much up there. I've been in Asbury a lot, so
Yeah.
my kid loves Porta,
Yeah.
which is great. I love Porta as well. I'm a Tallulah's guy though.
Tallulah's is
yeah,
good.
Tallulah's awesome. A rival pizza place.
Yeah.
I heard Medusa opened up.
Yeah, there's a place called Medusa on the corner of 4th and Main. It's kind of
Yeah.
off the
Okay.
beaten path.
It's supposed to be number one.
It's amazing. Run by 2 females. I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
And they imported an oven from Naples, Italy.
Nice.
But they make amazing pizza, and they do really killer bread in there too.
Really?
So you can
That's
go
cool.
by and pick up a great loaf of bread,
Nice.
which is great. I love the Asbury Park Beer Garden. Their story is amazing. We should probably get her in here.
That would be cool.
That'd be sweet.
Jen
Yeah.
Lampert, who runs that place, is just an amazing person. How she built that place.
The place is it's the most amazing space ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I actually go to there's a monthly, oddly enough, real estate networking event in there.
Yeah.
We go to, but it never gets old. It is an incredible
The
spot.
rooftop is
Yeah.
my
The
favorite.
rooftop is the
It's
best.
the best rooftop in,
Yeah.
in the area.
Yeah, and you think rooftop? Oh, they run that during the summer, right?
Right.
No, in the winters.
Yeah, the
bought
igloos.
They
Yeah.
bought these igloos that you
Right.
can rent out, and you
Yeah.
can go in there and drink.
Yeah,
in there.
that's cool.
It's just
That
a
is
great.
Mid snowstorm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just a really amazing
We
place.
should do a podcast in there.
That's
Well,
weird.
I have podcasted on
Have
the
you really?
rooftop
Have you really?
That's awesome.
of the beer garden. Yeah,
Sweet.
which is part of the beauty of podcasting. You can do it,
Do it anywhere.
anywhere.
So cool.
I've podcasted on planes, on buses,
Right.
and on on the roofs of beer gardens. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
awesome. It's really funny. Like you said, you were quiet, growing up
Yeah.
and in college and stuff. But to me, you're like the most like approachable guy, and
Yeah.
like you said, you said you talk to the local people. Like I see you as that kind of guy that is outgoing and talks to people all the time. Like what kind of flipped the switch for you?
I don't know. I'm gonna blame Kevin as well for
Right.
that. Even when I started working for him, I was pretty quiet. I was he hired me to do behind the scenes stuff, websites, creating merchandise
Right.
and graphic design. You know what? He started throwing these events. He started throwing these all day film festivals called he called it Vulgarthon.
Right.
The mascot for his production company, View Askew, was Vulgar the Clown. It was a clown in fishnets.
Right.
And these were all-day film festivals, and they were in pretty much they were mini cons, they were mini
Right.
conventions, and all these fans would come out, and through our community that we built on the message board, they knew who I was too, so we
Okay.
would meet in person, face to face.
Right.
And I guess I think they got me to open up a little bit more because I already knew them online,
Right.
and when we met in person, it wasn't really a big deal.
Gotcha.
And I think it kind of started from that.
That's cool.
And I guess it kind of it really, I think that's where it really started, where I started opening up.
Right.
And then when he asked us to podcast, you can't
Right.
you can't not talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to talk. So I kind of learned from that.
Right.
And then at conventions now you have like tens of thousands of people.
Right.
And I love it. I think I just had it bottled up, and once you unleash that cork, like it
Right.
all kind
Just
of comes
goes.
out. So
I saw that DD Leith
Yes.
says you should do a show about your travel recommendations.
yeah, I would.
That'd be pretty sweet.
I would
Very
love to
cool.
do that. I think if you were to ask me, I was like, well, what do you want to do in life?
Yeah.
And my answer was, I want to travel, eat food, drink coffee, drink cocktails, and get paid for it. And it's basically what Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Right.
Rest
amazing.
in peace.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
I think that'd be cool.
would
Yeah.
really-
And then you could podcast from everywhere as well.
Yeah.
throw that in,
Yeah.
I mean, those are really some of the most pleasurable things I think you just mentioned,
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think you should do it because I just even from your photos on Instagram,
Yeah.
like I get a sense that you really find some cool spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really fun stuff out there.
Right.
You just sometimes you have to dig for it, even if you're in a town where it doesn't look like there's anything.
Right.
There's something you really have
always
to ask
something.
around. Yeah, the bigger cities it's easier to find.
Yeah.
A hidden speakeasy, hidden bar somewhere.
Right.
It's easy to find. Where's the best fried chicken cutlet sandwich or whatever. But
Right.
there have been some towns where I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But lo and behold,
Right.
they would reveal themselves.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are some of your like spots that you haven't been that you want to go to?
Oh man, that's a great question. That's a great question. There used to be this restaurant out in Spain called El Bulli. It was pretty much known as one of the best restaurants in the world. There's a guy out there named Ferran Adria.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of the master of they call it molecular gastronomy, where they'll mix food and kind of chemicals and make like foams that have flavor in them, and like spheres of whatever. And he kind of originated that. His protege Jose Andres came to America and started a bunch of restaurants out here,
Right.
and kind of followed along. He's based mainly in the Washington D.C. area, but he's got a couple places in Vegas and one in L.A. and Miami.
That's cool.
And
Nice.
I'm trying to hit all of those, which I haven't been to.
Right.
There's a place in Amarillo, Texas called the Big Texan Steakhouse. And true to Texas's nature, they have a 72-ounce steak, which if you
Nice.
eat it in an hour, you get it for free.
Really.
And
That's a lot of meat.
while I found that I
That's a
can
lot.
eat a lot, I can't eat fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can do that, but I would love to try
Right.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
would
would be
love
cool.
to try at least. So the Big Texan is definitely on the list.
That sounds legit.
Yeah, but I actually keep a little notebook. I'll actually physically write things down, like
Right.
restaurants I want to go to.
That's cool.
And,
I went to 11 Madison Park
Yeah.
in New York with my wife. It was a gift for a wedding. Probably the best meal that I ever had in my life.
Wow.
Cocktails. She just said what flavor she likes, and they came out with a strawberry tequila and
Right.
12 course. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, I've never had a meal where it's about like a spoon the size of a quarter. That's
Yeah.
like one.
That's a course.
That's a course.
Yeah.
Right.
But the flavor is insane. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Add that to the list. It's good.
All right, 11 Madison. Okay,
11
done.
Madison.
Yeah, done for sure.
And then any other like locations you haven't been to that are on your list?
Oh man, I've hit a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember if there's any cities that I haven't been to. I used to keep a list, and slowly I started crossing them off. Like
Right.
Seattle was on there, New Orleans was on there, and I've been to those
Nice.
pretty recently. I'm trying to think if there are any major cities that I'm going to Omaha, Nebraska this weekend, which is
Nice.
that's
Cool.
I've never been to Nebraska, so there's a really good culinary and cocktail and dive bar scene there.
Right. I've driven through, never oddly enough, it's weird, but I was a Nebraska football fan as a kid. Like, I have no reason why. There were like
Just
a
by
couple
chance.
players I liked, so
Yeah.
like I always was fascinated with
Yeah.
Nebraska for some reason and drove through once. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I
You didn't
guess
stop?
It was like I was on a cross country trip.
Okay.
So it was just one of those sort of day, in Nebraska kind of things.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Driving around's fun too.
Yeah, for sure. So I think my sites, maybe I need to go overseas now. So I don't do a lot of overseas travel. I'd love to go to like Paris, London,
Right.
Anywhere in Italy,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia,
Right.
things like that. I've never been to. I haven't been to mainland China. I'm full-blooded Chinese, but
Right.
I've been to Taiwan.
That's cool.
But
Yeah.
mainland China, like Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing,
Right.
are things I would love to explore for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Be sweet.
That would be cool. What's the comic scene like internationally?
I wondered that for the longest time. I was lucky enough to go to Edinburgh, Scotland last year.
Did you throw any like large posts?
I did not do any caber tossing. I'm going to add that to the list.
All right.
And before I got out there, it was funny. The guy throwing the con was like, "Oh, I love you guys." And we were like, "How?" I'm on a show called Comic Book Men,
Right.
and our TV show out there doesn't air in the UK for whatever reason. They haven't bought the rights, or
Oh, wow.
they're waiting for something. And I was like, "Well, how did you watch the show?" It's like, "Oh, I downloaded it illegally." So apparently in England, they're all rabid for Kevin Smith. So
Oh,
anything
wow.
he's involved in, if they can't get it, they'll find a way to get it.
That's
And
awesome.
That is cool.
getting TV shows on the internet is not that hard these
Right.
days. So he'd been watching it online, and I was like, Edinburgh, yeah, I'd love to come on. Just the show's not out there, right?
Right.
We don't know if anyone's gonna know who we are. He's like, well, I don't care. I want to meet you guys.
Right.
I'm like, okay, great. If you want to fly us out there to meet us, that's
Yeah.
great. So we went out, had a blast. Edinburgh is one of the greatest cities in the
Really?
world, I believe. And when we got to the con, lo and behold, like the place was packed, and they all there was a line,
No way.
and we were like, "How are you watching us?" Like, "Oh, we downloaded it illegally." There's a whole community out there
That's
Right.
wild.
who bootlegged it
That's really
and
cool.
came out to see us. So I was pretty happy about that.
Nice.
And that was. But the fandom though, it was the same like it is here. There were the vendors selling toys, and comic books. That they always have an artist alley where the artists come and they can sell commissions or
Right.
sell prints of their artwork. And there's a lot of cosplay. Yeah, so now no matter where you go, it's pretty much the same.
Game of Thrones is big, right? Up
Game
in
of Thrones is-
Ireland, Scotland, England.
Game of Thrones is huge up there.
Yeah.
It kind of celebrates their heritage.
Joy
Yeah.
of
up
life,
there.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I just heard they started doing Comic Cons in like places like Saudi Arabia and
No,
there's
really?
one in Dubai.
Oh wow.
That's gotta be
There's
pretty
one
cool.
in Abu Dhabi. So they're a little more conservative there, but it's the same. They try to get away with as much as they can
Yeah.
within the rules of their home country. So
Yeah.
it's
That's cool.
pretty wild how things have spread, pop culture in particular.
Right.
You're gonna have a lot of traveling in the future.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I've been pretty fortunate so
Sweet.
far. And what's great, you find a city that you love. When you leave, it's like, oh, how can I get back here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
For
cool.
sure.
Now you mentioned Comic Book Men, which unfortunately is going to be looking for a new home.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Do
Yeah.
you think
Yeah.
it's going to continue on?
So my comic, if you don't watch comic, it's basically ripped off that show Pawn Stars. We put it
Right.
in Kevin Smith's comic book store, and I think focusing on comics and pop culture makes it way better.
Right.
I'm a little biased, but I thought
Yeah.
focusing on those two things, especially right now with the Marvel movies and everything, comic book properties
Sure.
are huge,
Mm-hmm.
and pop culture in particular, I think was always huge, but people were afraid to admit it.
Right.
Now it's okay and cool, even cool to admit it now.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I had a lot of fun on our show. We had 7 seasons, and we celebrated all of that. And there really isn't anything like that on the air right now.
Right.
So unfortunately, AMC, our home network, decided not to pick it up for an 8th season,
Right.
which stinks. So I don't feel like I'm done. I
Yeah.
feel like I have more stories to tell. I
Yeah.
think we always thought as long as there were toys out there, that there would always be, we could always do a show.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are we haven't even scratched the surface, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We've had some G.I. Joe stuff on there, Amigos, He-Man, and all
Right.
that. But there's so many great properties out there. And in this day and age where places like Netflix and Hulu or whatever network have been picking up other shows, I'm hoping that we can continue.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but I think the main point is I don't think any of us are done telling geeking out.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right,
I think
totally.
I feel I have a lifetime of geeking out. I'll
Yeah.
be 75 and be like, don't touch my GI Joes, put that down. And I'll still have Wonder Woman and Catwoman statues in the old folks home.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone will be coming to check them out.
That's cool.
If somebody wanted to watch the show, do you know how they could?
Yeah,
access it?
it's on iTunes. You can grab it on iTunes. It's
Okay.
on Amazon.
Okay.
It's on a number of where you can buy shows individually or by the season.
Okay.
Right.
It's on that. But we would love to be on like a Netflix. We have a whole 96 episodes.
Yeah.
We have a whole library,
Right.
and hopefully that goes somewhere.
And there's a big base.
Yeah,
Big
I,
fan base.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think but again, I think the main point is we're not done. I'm sure
Yeah.
by the 10th season of Alf, they were probably ready to get the guy in the Alf suit was like, screw this. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't feel we're done, and it's I don't. There's no show out there really like this. So
Nah.
Yeah.
which
I think
is-
Netflix is like the easy setup. Like that seems to make sense,
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that'd
so
be
for
really
sure.
cool.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
yeah, absolutely.
So what was your favorite toy as a kid?
I was a huge GI Joe fan.
Were you?
Huge, yeah. GI Joe came out about 82, 83.
Right.
I just moved to a new neighborhood, so I was looking for a way to connect with all the other kids in the neighborhood, and GI Joe was kind of the gateway into
Right.
making friends at the time.
Nice.
That's cool.
And at the time, Reagan and the Cold War was big, so anything kind of related to
America.
America, the military in particular
Yeah,
is that
right.
huge. That all the money was going to the military at the time. But GI Joe entranced me in particular because each character had a personality.
Right.
Yeah.
In the back of the the blister card that you got off the pegboard at the toy store,
Right.
they had a thing called the file card,
Right.
and had their real name, their code name. It'd be like Roadblock loves French fries,
Right.
and he
Sweet.
he studied communications at the University of Nebraska, where I was
Right.
like, wow, this is kind of like a real guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And those were all written by a dude named Larry Hama, who kind of came
really?
up with a lot of the backstories of the GI Joe characters.
pretty
Ex-military guy,
Right.
artist. I still see him at Comic Cons now,
Oh,
which is
really?
pretty
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah,
That is
Nice.
cool.
kind of a hero of mine. It's like he created that whole GI Joe world.
That's awesome.
But they would come with accessories was a big thing. So they would come with really detailed machine guns and
Right.
like grenades and backpacks. And,
Yeah.
there was a guy with skis and little attack dogs, stuff like that. And then
Right.
they had vehicles. So you'd have to go get the vehicles too.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Totally.
yeah. So I was really really into GI Joe at
Awesome.
the time.
That's cool.
I still am.
Yeah.
I still am. Although it's weird, buying back your childhood is a weird thing.
Yeah.
You trying to buy back your childhood costs 10 to 20 to 100 times more
Yeah.
than it did back then.
I looked up my son loves Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So and he loves the original.
Right.
The original
The
Power
OG
Rangers.
runs with,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep. It's on
yeah.
Netflix. So we looked up on online to see what the what's it when they all combine. and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
try-
was it the Megazord or
Yeah.
whatever?
Oh, yeah.
It's like $350
Yeah.
online. I was
Yeah.
like, all right. Well, I had like two of them when I was growing up.
Right.
Probably like $5. Yeah.
That is
it's expensive.
It's funny you bring out the Power Rangers. So they were after my time. So I never watched an episode.
Yeah.
I was probably about 20 years old when they came out, 18 to 20.
Okay.
But I didn't realize how huge they were until I started going on the Comic-Con circuit.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are doing Comic-Cons right now. So I befriended them without having watched the show, and they're all crazy. They're fun. They're fun
Yeah,
guys, though.
right.
Yeah, I'll be on a dance floor. I was like, hey, it's the Black Ranger. It's Walter Jones.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, man? So
When that
Yeah.
that was like what 94 maybe
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're a huge property. If you go to a con, their lines are insane.
Oh,
it's
really?
a huge fan base.
Really?
Even though
Yeah.
even though the first incarnation came out about 23 years ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. So I didn't know that. So now I know. Now
Yeah,
that I know,
yeah.
Okay,
He's
That's
he's
cool.
really into it.
that's cool.
And then we
all
have
your toys get tossed as a kid.
yeah, I don't have
they're all
any.
gone.
Yeah. Which is sad because now thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I wish I just had them all in a bin.
Yeah.
Save them.
It's a weird thing. We all say that. It's like, oh man, my mom threw out all my toys or
Yeah.
all my comics, and which is sad. Which as a collector kills us.
Yeah.
But from a collecting standpoint, or from a value standpoint, if all those moms didn't throw all those out, they wouldn't be worth so much.
That's true.
Yeah.
they would
You'd have
still
a
be around.
surplus of,
And that's the thing now. People kind of try to speculate now. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy like 10 cases
right.
Yeah.
of Star Wars action figures and hoard them. and that's what everybody else is doing now. So they're worthless.
Right.
We have bins now. Just, Jackson loves all things Marvel.
Yeah.
So we have Hulk in every single size.
Yeah.
I mean, from the little Legos to
Right.
the Hulkbuster machine
Yep.
with Iron Man.
Yep.
I mean, every
Yeah.
single kind of variation of these toys.
Right.
Every single size we have.
That's
it's
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
So do you have a toy you've been on a quest for forever that you still don't have?
there are a couple. So GI Joe came out with a aircraft carrier back in about 1984-85. It was
Right.
one of the first toys to break the $100 mark.
Wow.
And as a kid, of course, I wanted it as a
Sure.
rabid fan.
Yep.
And this is in a world where an action figure, a GI Joe action figure, would be about $2.50, $3.
Okay.
And my parents were pretty frugal,
Right.
And they were like, "No, like
Yeah.
you're no." And I tried to bargain with them. I was like, "You don't have to buy me a Christmas or birthday present ever again."
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, like we're not buying. It's $100. Like we're not buying you that. That's one. It's a waste of money. Two, it's $100. And
Right.
three, no."
Right.
So I never got that. Later on, thanks to the show, a guy brought one in, and I
wow.
bought one for way more than $100.
Did you?
And I was able to acquire that. But since it was so big, I didn't have anywhere. I had nowhere to put it. It sat in the
Right.
basement of the store forever.
Oh wow.
And one day, Walt, who manages the store, is like, "You ever gonna get that thing out of here?" And I'm like, "I mean, one day, yeah. I just don't have anywhere to put it." He was
Right.
like, "You know what? Maybe you should think about selling it." So we put it together at the store,
Uh-huh.
and I marked it up from what I bought it from.
Right.
And lo and behold, I got a pretty good offer.
Oh
on it.
really?
It was actually John Ross from John Ross Brewing came in. He was like, "Hey, do you really want to sell that?"
No way.
No, like, I don't really want to, but I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't have any room in my place.
Right.
I don't have any room anywhere for this. It's probably going to sit in pieces. If you're going to buy it and enjoy it, I would sell it to you. And he was kind of like, I'll throw in another thing. And like, I'm opening up a brewery. Like, I'll give you free beer too
No
if you
way.
sell it to me. So I sold it to
Sweet.
him.
Right.
So I do. While I did sell it, I do want it back.
Yeah.
I want one in the box though.
Okay.
And there are ones that are sealed out there.
Are there
They've
really?
never seen air in the plastic baggies.
That's crazy.
All the stickers.
What would the price be on that?
So I've seen them in box, like opened, but with every piece for $2,500. So in box sealed, I can't even fathom that. But I would. I think what I want is not just one, but two.
Yeah.
I want one to put together.
And want to keep.
Yeah, one to
Right.
just keep pristine, like it never, like it came off the factory. But
Right.
the other
Yeah.
one, I would love that pleasure to open the box and put it together. I kind of got that because when it came out originally, my parents didn't buy it for me, but the kid who lived behind me got one for Christmas.
Really?
His parents were divorced, so he got whatever he wanted.
Right.
And and when he got it, he
Lucky bastard.
yeah, he was nice to let
Must
me
be nice.
come over. He was nice enough to let me come over after he got it, and he was like, and I put the stickers on it.
Yeah.
We built it, but I didn't get to build it all by myself.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's one day, everybody.
That's
one day.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
What about you? You got something you're looking for out there?
Toy wise?
Yeah.
No, I know if I did get a toy, my son would be the first one
Sure.
ripping it up and
Right.
bringing it in the tub and putting it in the mud outside.
Right.
So
You're always welcome in here to build stuff. So
All right.
yeah. We always joked about doing like time lapse, like Lego builds in
Well, so-
here and stuff
That'd
like
be cool.
that.
Right.
once our youngest is a little older, getting back into Legos, which I was huge on
Yeah.
growing up,
Right.
is something that I would love to do. We had the table where it was, maybe
Oh, it was like a Lego.
it
on
was
the
a Lego
bottom.
top
Right.
4x4
Yep.
with 4 little chairs.
That's cool.
With the Lego like field
Yep.
on there, so you could build onto it.
So yeah, so that anything Lego in the future,
Right.
once they're a little bit older,
Yeah.
choking hazards are gone.
Yes,
I'm-
choking has very
yeah.
important. And the Lego world is insane right now.
Yeah.
Before when we were kids, it was like Lego Space, Lego City.
Right.
Now it's Lego Game of Thrones, Lego
Yeah.
Star Wars, Lego Marvel, Lego.
Everything.
Yeah.
They've licensed everything,
Right.
and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And that was the best idea
Yeah,
that they could have ever done.
did think of something.
It is wild. It's like you used to get a box and just build whatever you want.
Anything,
right?
anything, yeah. Just
And
make
then,
cities.
but now it's almost like you have to follow. Like I did one with my daughter, and it's
Yeah.
like you literally have to follow the directions.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know
Yeah.
what to make because some of
Yeah.
the pieces are so complex. You know? It's crazy.
I want a Thanos glove.
Oh, the Infinity Gauntlet, Lego
Yeah.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
They're probably working on that now.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be a wearable one with hinges
'Cause
on it. That
I
you
have
can
I have
wear.
the Hulk gloves, right?
Those are
Yeah,
cool.
the
The Hulk
foam
hands,
ones
yeah.
where
Right.
my son would just come up and punch me in the back of the head.
Right.
I was like, this would be sweet if it was metal, gold, and it had the Infinity Stones. Not to hit me, but like
Right.
Yeah.
to just have somewhere in the
That's
room.
what would happen for sure.
Yeah.
You catch
Yeah.
one of those in the nuts from the
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and the great thing is, even though they licensed everything, the fun is still there. It's still,
Yeah.
step one, put square block on circle
Yeah.
block,
Right.
and it's cool. At the end, you have now at the end you have a time machine from Back to the Future. You have the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Ecto 1.
That's
We watched the original Ghostbusters last night, and he's obsessed with it. Like, he went to bed, something strange.
Yeah, neighborhood.
Yeah, keep it authentic,
That's
Watching
cool.
the Goonies, he
Right.
watched Back to the Future.
that is cool.
It's great, isn't it? This came out,
Yeah.
33 years ago.
Before I was born. I
Yeah.
was born 91.
That's amazing.
But-
and now
Yeah.
it's come back, and kids it still holds up, which
Yeah.
is
Totally.
great.
Yeah,
That
they're
is-
classics.
Yeah.
It really, it's like, I don't know. This isn't in the comic book realm, but like Moana. Have
Yep.
you seen? That is a classic movie. That's something that's going to be watched in like 20 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Disney, man.
Disney's great. That's a whole
Disney
other.
owns everything. So.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's crazy. So aside from shopping around Comic Book Men, the series, what
Yeah.
else is going on? coming up?
Well, we have this
Right.
beautiful place, the Shared Universe Podcast Studio, a venture launched by me and Mike Zapsik, also from the show. Podcasting's featured pretty prominently in Comic Book Men, which I thought was cool. It was the first show to ever feature any kind of podcasting.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of cool to put that out into the world. And we've been podcasting about 7 years, and at conventions and at the store, just when we would run into people, they'd be like, "Hey, man, I listen to your podcast. I want to start my own. How do I do it?" And we would give them a quick 10-minute tutorial while we had time. But
Right.
we always wanted to have a place where we could teach people how to podcast, or have a home for people
Right.
who had started their own podcast. So we started this about the beginning of the year.
That's awesome.
And it's been going pretty great.
Right.
The dream is to just have people in here all day with different topics and different podcasts and different subjects.
Right.
And we're getting there.
That's
Nice.
cool. I mean, I
We're
love
getting
coming
there.
here, and
Yeah.
the thing I noticed from our guests too is everyone, like you said, you put a microphone in front of people,
Yeah.
people feel comfortable. So everyone's always like, "Oh, I'm really nervous to come in," but this is a really inviting
Yeah.
Yeah.
environment also. So I think people chill out and are relaxed when they come in. here.
Yeah.
It's the first
Which is
thing
cool.
that Evan said today.
Right.
Yeah.
Is I'm pretty nervous. And
Yep.
the second he had these on, he was
Boom.
just talking about
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morning wood,
Yeah.
And then I know you guys are doing some podcasting on the road where people can come sit down with you at a Comic-Con and podcast
Yeah,
with you,
we
right?
started taking portable gear out to the cons we've been going out to, and helping people podcast while we're on the road.
That's cool.
And Comic Cons, they're geeks who have opinions. They're armed with their opinions, and they want to get those out.
Right.
They want to get them on record, and they want to shout it out to the world. So we thought it was a perfect audience
Yeah.
for something like this. And I've also been noticing at Comic Cons, there are already guys with established podcasts. Most of them are pop culture based.
Right.
And they would be lugging out heavy gear. It was like, "Ming, can we get like a 3-minute interview with you?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Sure." And they'd bust out all this gear. And I was like, "Well, what if we just had a place that was all set up already,
Yeah.
and they could just sit down
Right.
and do it that way?" So we're trying to get that going as well.
That's very cool.
The goal with that is to have some of the big name guests at these cons
Yeah.
want to come over and podcast with people,
Right.
who already have podcasts.
Yeah.
You just imagine you just started a podcast and Chris Evans. You get Chris Evans.
I wouldn't even know what to say.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
yeah,
just,
or yeah, or I don't have to. Maybe I don't have to aim that high, but
Yeah.
you get somebody from Game of Thrones, like season 3
Yeah.
or something like that.
That'd be really
That would
cool.
be I think that would be cool.
yeah.
That would be.
So that's the goal with something like that.
We got to do one on the road down in AC at the that restaurant.
right. Yeah,
Oh, the Iron Room.
Iron Room.
I am
That'd
all
be
for
sweet.
that anytime you guys want. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And the beauty of it is, while in the studio, we have a board and there's a big mess of wires. They make recorders about the size of a brick.
Yeah.
And the mics you kind of pack into a bag with the cables, and that's pretty much all you need.
That's cool.
It's pretty awesome.
It is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely hooked. I enjoy podcasting a lot. I love coming to
Yeah.
a shared universe.
Yeah. I love the spot.
Yeah, you guys have been great.
Yeah,
I've,
really.
I have to. I don't have to, but I listen to every show. So, and then I listen back to them
Sweet.
too,
Right.
just to
Yeah.
see if sound quality wise I can improve
Right.
on them, or if there's any advice I can give you guys.
That's
And
cool.
it's great. And with the traveling, it's the best way to not only pass time on a long flight, but actually learn something
Right.
Yeah.
or just be
Yeah.
entertained. So
Just
Yeah.
listen. Yeah.
yeah,
That is true.
it's great.
Yep. Awesome. Ming, thanks for sitting down with us today.
Absolutely.
Just really appreciate
Anytime.
it. And
Anytime. MulletCast, everybody.
Totally. Thanks for all the help with getting the MulletCast started.
I like this. I don't want to take this thing off.
Keeps your head warm, right?
Totally. All right. Once again, check out Ming if you don't already on Instagram at MingChen37. And, of course, ashareduniverse.com, the home away from home for the MulletCast. Thanks, Ming.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can we get a picture of you wearing that?
absolutely.